Good morning. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Hi, everyone. I'm traveling tonight, going somewhere in the UK. Traveling somewhere in the UK. I won't be able to read any messages because safety comes first. But any question, I will go through a question later on when I park up this truck, and then I will try to reply some of these messages. Feel free to ask any questions. Let's drive together this truck to the other side of the UK. Traveling, traveling, traveling. Over the bridge. Over the bridge now. Over the bridge now. Hi everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Driving on UK roads is not easy. It's not easy at all. Why? Because most of the time UK roads are so narrow. UK roads are so small. Especially when there's at the moment when I see 50, I'm on the motorway. I see 50. That is a very bad sign for me. Very bad sign. There's road work somewhere. I don't know where it is, but there will be a road work somewhere. Or I might follow a diversion. I might follow some kind of diversion. When I see 50 miles an hour in the night time in the UK, it's terrible. And I have a long drive. So This lane is closed. I will need to move to the other lane. So this lane is closed. Hello everyone, good morning, good morning. I won't be able to read any messages because I'm driving. Safety come first. Any questions, I will go through them later on and try to reply some of them. But at the moment, I will just focus on the driving. Focus on the driving. Good morning everyone. I'm a trucker. Hi everyone. I'm in the UK. I'm driving in the UK. Driving the truck. That's one Arctic on the UK road. I won't be able to pay attention to any messages because I'm driving. Safety comes first. I'm very sorry about that if I'm unable to read any messages. But you can send a request if you want to go live with me. You can send a request. You can call. We can chat voice with our voice. But going through the messages, I won't be able to go through any messages at the moment. Very sorry about that. Sorry for this inconvenience. 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 Sorry for the inconvenience if I'm unable to read the messages on the comment section. We have to deal with this kind of car every day, every night. Did you see that car? He just cut in front of me, just all of a sudden. I had to flash him. Oh my day. I had to flash him. He just cut through. All of a sudden, his driving is so bad. His driving is so bad. Hello, good morning. There's road work. Road work. There's road work every night. This is a nightmare when you got to drive this truck at night on the UK road. Good morning, guys. Good morning. I want you to use this opportunity to answer one question that one person asked me on the comment section some few days ago. He asked me, why did I decided to become a truck driver? Why did I decide to become a truck driver? He said that was a good question that he asked me. Why I decided to become a truck driver? Living in the UK is so expensive. First of all, um, I was living in a big city in London when I was some years ago. So I was living in London, and then we all know when you live in a big city downtown, we all know how life is so expensive when you live in downtown um, cities. Um, you got to deal with transportation. You got to deal with uh, buses. And I remember in those days, the minimum wage was not like now. In the UK nowadays, the minimum wage in the UK at the moment is roughly £12 something, £12.50 roughly. But some years ago, the was minimum wage was £4.50. I remember, if I can remember, the minimum wage in the UK. So if you were living in the UK in those days, you knew that you had to work very hard in order to make ends meet. Um, with time, things I had to, to get a bus from one place to another or to travel around. It was roughly 75p. 75p to travel around the UK. That's, no, not the UK, but when you were based in London, yes, it was 75p. For me, it was alright then. But with time, things became very hard living in London. Um, I remember I was working in a warehouse whereby I was lifting big, huge boxes. Um, that was what I was doing there. I was just lifting boxes, put them on a conveyor, and the conveyor just pull it to where the trailers are, and then they have to load it in the trailer. And I was doing a 12-hour shift just to make to finish the month. It was terrible. It was really, really terrible. But I couldn't complain because at least I was trying to put food on the table. 2019, 2020, things became very, 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 very tough in the UK when the COVID-19 hit. Things became very tough. Things were just like skyrocketing, all the prices, boom, inflation, everything was like high. The diesel was more higher. So I remember before the COVID hit, I ran away from that city, from London. I ran away from London because I couldn't, I couldn't bear it. I couldn't stand it. It was so expensive, especially with houses. So when in the town, I had um, something like two bedroom flat, was paying off £750, which was even more better than living in London. So I didn't appreciate it until I moved from that place to get to go a bit far, the countryside. So I really enjoy living in the countryside. I really enjoy it. It was really nice. Life was so good there. Accommodation nice. The food were affordable. You could live. You could survive. Yes, you could survive when you were living there. When you live in the countryside, especially this time around, where things are really the prices are skyrocketing, and the prices are going up more higher and higher, which make things a bit more. I mean, you surround yourself with businessmen, you will end up becoming an entrepreneur. Of course, the people you mingle with will surround yourself with good people, you will be a good person. You surround yourself with bad people, you will be a bad person. That's what I learned in life. So we all need to try to surround ourselves with people who are good. We need that. We need to surround ourselves with people. Look at that driver. Oh my days. He just come and cut through me. Very bad. Oh my days. How can someone drive like that? He doesn't have any trailer. He just came and cut in front of me, and I'm fully loaded. They expect me to slam the brake like a normal car. Sometimes some drivers they don't think when they're driving. Some drivers doesn't think when they're driving. So, as I was saying, why did I why did I decide to become a truck driver? Why did I decide to become a truck driver? That is why my statement is the people you surround yourself with will determine who you are. I remember some years ago living in London. Um, the type of people I was surrounding myself with were people working in warehouses, people who doesn't have any goals in life, people who were not thinking about the future. They were just living, they were just surviving. And I had this kind of people as friends. Having these kind of people as friends lead me to start working in warehouses as well. And then when I was working in the warehouse, I felt like that was my comfort zone. And I didn't want to do anything else. I remember some parents of mine or some sibling were telling me, try to think a bit higher. Try to have another goal in life. Don't just think that because you work in a warehouse, you have enough. I wasn't listening because the people I was surrounding myself with were doing the same. So the people you surround yourself with will determine who you are. Try to surround yourself with people who have goals in life. Try to surround yourself with people who have good objective, who have vision. Try to surround yourself with people who have vision in life. It's important. It's really important because it will it will boost your faculty of thinking, your way of thinking. The way you see things will be different. So because my surrounding were people who were working in warehouse, I ended up working in warehouse, and I was happy, not knowing that there are better opportunity out there. So as, when I moved from that place where I was living, I started to mingle with another set of people, and these people were doing security. That was the worst one. But then it was good. That was before the COVID-19. Then it was very nice because I was working as a security officer. Working as a security officer, that was because I had friends who were doing the same job. And I thought, come on, it pays the bill, it puts food on the table, it's a good job. That's how I end up doing security. I end up doing security. So at some point, I started thinking somehow. I said, no, I need to find another way of surviving. Unfortunately, the COVID-19 hit. Unfortunately, that was a big disappointment because I was trying to figure out what I would do with my life before the COVID-19 hit. So when the COVID hit, things became very tough, and I said to myself, let me go as a self-employed. So that is how I went to do taxi. So I started doing taxi, driving around the UK, picking up passengers from there and there. That's what I was doing. But with time, with the lockdown and everything, things become more tougher and tougher and tougher. I couldn't survive again. I couldn't even live. I barely even get the minimum wage when I was doing taxi. So I quit. That's how I quit taxi. That is part of my life, you know. I'm trying to narrate part of my life to show that it's important to have vision. It's important to have goals. It's important to surround yourself with people who will encourage you to do good things. At that time, I remember some people were doing. We had This system in the UK here, is called healthcare system, like support work. I end up doing support work because, again, during that period of lockdown, I surrounded myself with people who were doing the same job. I end up doing that job as well because people were saying, "Oh, come and do support work. It's the only thing that you can do right now." Um, Especially with the lockdown, things are really tougher out there. And the main thing is the landlords will keep asking you the payment for the rent. The landlord will keep asking you money. The bills keep piling up. It wasn't like the government would take all the bills during the lockdown. The lockdown the country, nothing was moving, there was nothing at all. But there was no kind of support from the government. Then the landlord was there asking you money for the rent, money, electricity, energy, and everything. They were always calling you and asking you for the bills to be paid, the council tax to pay. So they have this system in the UK that you need to pay a kind of a council tax. So I ended up being a support worker. Why did I decide to become a truck driver? Again, the people you mingle with will determine who you are. The people you surround yourself with will really determine who you are. Another issue. So I started doing support work, being support worker, looking after people, elderly people, and stuff like that. Then it was putting food on the table. I ended up doing it for quite a while. Then I said, oh, I need to find a way out again. I need to have vision. I, I changed my cycle of friends. I started having friends who were doing deliveries. That's how I end up doing deliveries because those friends, because they were doing delivery, they were trying to encourage me to get into the business. Yeah, so I end up being a delivery driver. I end up becoming a delivery. So that's how I was doing deliveries. From a cycle of friends change. The cycle of friends were no more from the other sectors of activity. So I ended up becoming kind of a driver on UK road. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's part of the life. It's part of what happened to me. It's part of what happened to me. Part of my life that I'm narrating at the moment. I went through thick and thin. Quite a lot. That didn't make anything easier. So the cycle of friends you have will determine who you are. Tell me who you're working with, I will tell you who you are. Tell me with who you are working with, I will tell you who you are. That's a good statement. I really like that. A friend of a thief is a thief. Say someone. A friend of a thief is a thief. Surround yourself with good people, you will be a good person. Surround yourself with bad people, you will be very bad person. Explaining what really happened, what I did, the do's and don'ts that I've done so far before I became a truck driver. Yes, exactly what happened. So I did security, I work in the warehouses, I went to do support work. Then I end up doing delivery. So my deliveries I was doing with Amazon, I was doing it as self-employed. Then I questioned myself. That's when I started questioning myself. Why can't I upgrade my license and drive the big rig on the road, on UK road? That's when I received. I had that question popped up in my mind, but I didn't have any answer then. But I carry on doing what I was doing, doing my deliveries. Then when I was doing my deliveries, I had to get in touch with some people who were working in the warehouse. They were driving counterbalance and they were driving race truck elevators. I mean, those big elevator race truck. That's why I said the people you mingle with will determine who you are. There's a red light, so gotta stop in. Gotta stop now. Get Truckside. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for supporting this live. I'm stopped now. Let me read. Why are you driving, mate? I'm driving in the UK. I'm driving in the UK. Um, at the moment, I will not be able to read messages. But I had the opportunity to read that message because I stopped on a red light. So when I'm driving, it's a bit difficult for me to pay attention on the messages on the comment section. But rest assured, I will go through the messages after whenever I have the opportunity to stop, or if I have to stop on my break time because I'm on the truck driver now, driving the truck in the UK on the UK road. Um, I have a long drive. I'm going to Hampshire, somewhere in Hampshire. It's a very long drive. I've been driving since for a couple of hours now, so I might stop probably at some point to get a break. Um, because when you drive, you got to stop after 4 hours. This after 4 hours, 30 minutes, you got to stop for a break to reset your driving time, or otherwise, you can also split your break. You cannot do all the way around, but you can split. You can split your break. 15 minutes first, then you split it to another 30 minutes, another half an hour. That is the rules in the UK when you drive trucks. That's a red light. No, it's a green light. I thought I would have another opportunity to read some messages, but unfortunately, the light turned green. Safety first. I gotta pay attention on the road and keep driving. But if I have an opportunity to check the messages, um, either on the traffic light or if I stop on my break or whenever the light is over, something like that, I will go through the messages again. Thank you for supporting this live uh, by subscribing, by tapping the screen like button, or leaving a comment. Thank you for encouraging us. Um, it goes a long way. Uh, Thank you for that. I appreciate the little like, the little subscribe, the little comment. I appreciate everything. So, as I was saying, ooh, green, green, green. I'm fully loaded, so I'm gonna pay attention on the load, especially when cornering, because the worst scenario, cornering will damage everything in that trailer. So driving the truck in the UK is not easy. Why I became a truck driver? That's a good question. But before I became a truck driver, I had to do so many jobs, so many things. I did so many things before I became a truck driver. I went through hell. I went through hell. At some point, I was doing two jobs in order to survive before I became a truck driver. I was doing two jobs in the UK at some point. So, um, support work, I did warehouse job. So, because I was saying something before that. I was saying I changed my cycle of friend and I started mingling with people who were working in the warehouse, driving counterbalance and driving a restaurant. Because I ended up becoming a restaurant driver, balance driver within the within the warehouse. So I was driving restaurant elevators, so picking up pallet from the top, bringing them down, or putting away pallet when the pallet arrived from the driver, unloading the trailers with the counterbalance, forklift. That's what I was doing. Uh, the payment was not bad. It was so nice. I remember I was working with an agency. They were paying a decent amount of money. And bear in mind that when you are a wish truck driver, I was forklift truck driver. Um, to get a decent pay, that would depend on the agency you're working with. So the agency I was working with, driving wish truck and counterbalance, forklift, they were paying decent money. The decent money was £16 an hour, which was not bad. So when you have a wish truck license in the UK, especially if it's delivered from an accredited institution, you will end up having a good pay. So that's exactly what happened to me. So I ended up having a good pay, and unfortunately, I had to keep two jobs in order to survive in the UK. Even though I was living the countryside, things are becoming very expensive, very, very expensive. nowadays. That makes things very worse. So that's how I decided to to carry on with the job I was doing in the warehouse, driving forklift truck, counterbalance, and lift truck. That is driven within the warehouse, inside the warehouse. That's where you got to drive those kind of units. So because I had to keep two jobs, that made things very worse. And I had to look for a way in order to reduce my time of work and carry on uh, paying the bills and putting food on the table. So things became very harder and harder, harder and harder. So I ended up deciding that I want to go back to school because I studied logistics in school in the uni some years ago. I graduated from that uni, and now I wanted to divert it because the people who surrounded myself again, they they put the road everywhere. You use it, you take a road, you think you're gonna get there on time, but unfortunately, you will never get there on time. It's a road closure. So I need to follow the diversion. Uh, so sad. I need to follow the diversion now. All my days. Yeah, as I was saying, I decided to go back to school. I went and do my functional skill because the university I was studying, I wanted to school, requested a document, affordability, functional skill. So I did that and I passed. On the university I wanted to study, they asked me to do functional skill math. So I was about to pay the functional skill math. Then I had to have a deep thought again about it. I had to have a big, deep thought about this stuff was going to really. My, my thought felt right. Why? My thought felt right because I started thinking that if I go to uni, I will need to get uh, I will need to finance it from the government. I will need to take a finance. That means filling an application and then continue driving. Good morning. Um, as I said earlier, just a quick reminder, I won't be able to read a message through just because I'm driving. Safety comes first. But rest assured, if I have an opportunity to stop, or if I have an opportunity to get to a traffic light, I can glance quickly the messages and see who wrote me, who asked a question, and try to answer them. Rest assured about that. So as I was saying, I decided to go to university, to study what? To study nursing. After being a logistician, after studying logistics some years ago, and graduated from that school, I had to do a change of career. That change of career is a road closed because you can see so many signs here. There's so many walk signs here. I don't know whether the road is closed again because I don't want to keep following that vision. What just jumped there? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Traffic light red. Stop. That was so quick. Traffic light. Oh my days. Um, Good morning, my fellow drivers. Good morning, my fellow friends. Good morning, good morning, good morning. The road is heavy. Can I say the road is heavy or the. Yeah, I can say the road is heavy. For me, the road is heavy because my eyes are heavy. I'm feeling sleepy. That is the, the bad side of driving at night. Yeah, driving at night. Driving at night, especially driving a truck at night. My eyes are heavy. I think I will need to start. It's been a while I've been driving now. I think there's a lay-by here. I'll check if it's empty. Oh yeah, it's empty. It's lay-by. We stop for like 5 minutes before carry on. Safety first. Ooh, finally, let me stop for 5 minutes before carry on because my eyes are heavy. All right, why I became a truck driver? Was a good question someone asked me. Somebody, somebody asked me that question. Mm, leave 1 minute. Yeah, I'm trying to stop for 5 minutes to reset my brain, to walk around a bit because safety is first. No matter what, safety comes first when you drive, especially when you drive this truck. Because driving this truck, you're not just driving for yourself, you're driving for the other people on the road because you're not the only one on the road. You're driving for the others on the road. You're not just driving for yourself. So there's no point driving with a lot of fatigue and then trying to be, uh, you want to be a hero. So it's important to try to get a good balance when you drive. No, 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 no. Good to have a good balance when driving. I'm just trying to have a 5 minute walk around to stretch my leg and then reset my brain. before carry on where I'm going to. It's been a while I've been driving. Just it's been only just 2 minutes that I stopped. What was that noise for? I hope someone is not trying to tamper with material. And sometimes you need to have a look around all the time. All the time. All the time. Have a look around. It's been 3 minutes now. Get some water. Okay, it's been 5 minutes now. Okay, I need to hit the road now. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for to life. Thank you for being there. Really appreciate all you all. Really appreciate you all. All right, time to hit the road again. It's been 7 minutes. I've stretched my leg for 7 minutes. Time to hit back the road. Good morning, friends. Good morning, Trucksiders. Back on the road. Why I decided to become a truck driver? Yes, that was a good question. Um, After working in warehouses, after doing security, after doing support work, after driving rich truck and counterbalance in warehouses, I decided to go to university and study and change a career. Because what I studied in university in the past was another career. I was in logistic and transport. That's what I studied in university. But now I had to change of career. So I find myself that I said to myself, let me just go and do nursing in university. I started the process. I started everything. I was finally accepted to the university uh, to do the course because I wanted to do mental health. I wanted to become a mental health nurse. So I was finally accepted in the course, and I had my conditional offer. I had it that was sent to me, so I was ready to start my degree. Then something clicked in. Um, I was just scrolling on YouTube one of these days, and then I saw a guy. The title of his content was of the content that he produced that day was, is it worth it to go to university or to become a truck driver? That was the question he asked. And with all the curiosity, I wanted to know what he was about to say on that video, because the question he asked was really a nice question. Is it worth it? Is it worth it to go to university and study for 3 years, or is it worth it for you to get your license and become a truck driver? So I listened to his video, to his content, and at the end of his video, at the end of his content, he said it's worth it becoming a truck driver than going to university. And that made all the sense to me. And I sat down, I started having a reason. I started having a reason about me going back to university because in my mind I want to stop all this work. I want to stop whatever I was doing then, go to uni, get master finance, and then becoming a nurse. Having my degree and becoming a nurse. But after listening to that video, that nah, that was perfect. It came my point. Is it worth it becoming a truck driver or going to university? So I started thinking, and I started checking as well the salary, the wage. And I noticed that if you go to university, you, after having a degree, during the first year, as a new degree holder, you will end up having like 27. £28,000 per annum, £28,000 per annum. Whereas as a truck driver, you just need to get like 1 week training to become a truck driver in the UK. 1 week or 2 weeks of your training by a truck driver. Whereas going to university, you gotta spend like 3 years in university, sitting there in the university. M40 Valley Service Norfolk, Sherwood Valley, M40 Norfolk, Norfolk. So when you go to university as well, you got to finance. On the finance, every single year is like roughly £9,000 that the finance will pay towards your university, towards your course. And along the way, after 3 years, you end up paying roughly £30,000. And then you will need to pay all that money. You need to pay all the finance when you start working after your graduation. When you start working, there's a certain amount that will be deducted of your money, of your salary, of your wage to pay back those uh, finance you took to go to university. Whereas if you save a little bit of money, you got like £3,000 or £5,000 roughly, you can easily go there and do your license. So, good morning, friends. Thank you for supporting our live. Thank you for supporting the live. Good morning, friends. Good morning, Trucksiders. You know, you are my Trucksiders, you know that. Good morning, 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 good morning. Someone sang that song to me. Good morning, 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 good morning. Good morning, 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 good morning. Slowly, slowly, otherwise I will shift that load. If I shift that load, I'm gonna get stuck here. So extra cautious when cornering either left or right. Extra cautious. So I don't want to shift that load. So the question is that was asked during on that video because I wanted to go to university to study mental health nurse to become a mental health nurse, and then I was putting on YouTube. I saw a question: is it worth it going to university than becoming a truck driver? And the answer of that content of that person of that content, he said becoming a truck driver is worth it than going to university and study. And after I thought about it, I noticed that he was right. He was really, really right. He was right. He was right. Because if you go to university, you got to finance. That finance is not free. It's not free money. You will need to repay that finance when you get a job. And when you will get a job, at a certain point, when you start earning a certain amount of money, you will start repaying that finance. You start repaying that. And then repaying that finance will be calculated along a certain length of time throughout your life. And then any single years that pass by, there's an interest that increase on that finance, on that loan. There's an increase. Any single year that goes by, there's an increase of interest on that finance that you take it. That means that you will never, you will never ever finish to repay that loan unless you pay it cash. You decided to pay off that loan cash. Then you will say, okay, I finished to pay my loan. Otherwise, you will keep paying a small amount any single every single month, small amount. I think if you earn roughly £22,000 per annum in the UK, no 25,000 something like that, then you start repaying that loan. They start charging you a small amount of money. It could be £25, it could be £10, it could be £100, it could be £50, it could be £150 per month that you get charged. But at the end of the year, after 12 months, you will realize that you haven't even repaid even £5,000. You haven't repaid that. And then after the 12 months, there's an interest that will be added to the rest of the loan or the fees that you need to pay. And that interest that is added on, he will keep paying it. So you keep paying the loan for the rest of your life. That is the explanation that was given that the person gave to me. Whereas if you've got your £5,000, go out there, spend like roughly 1 week or 2 weeks, get your license, and then you're done. 1 or 2 weeks, if you're a good driver, you get your license, you're done. And then the second the second aspect of it is you go to university, you finish your mental health nurse, that's what I wanted to do. You finish your degree, you are now a fully qualified mental health nurse. Your starting salary is around your starting salary as a mental health nurse, I think it's around £28,000 per annum with the NHS, something like that. I think so. But as a truck driver, let's assume you pass your license today. As a new pass, the starting salary is roughly 30,000, £38,000. So, is it worth it going to university or trying to close your eye, get get that done, get your license done, and then get paid more than a nurse? It's true that the nurses can make good money, they can make good wage, especially if you work in private sectors or if they're self-employed or so and so forth. Otherwise, no point. So that's exactly what happened. So I had to close my eye, go and do my truck license. And this is how I became a truck driver in the UK. That's my story. That was a long drive. Yes.